Hey guys, Dr. Ben here. Let's do a live Q&A again. Love answering questions. Love to see that so many people bring questions, but then also support each other. And that's what is the beauty of having this type of a community. Everybody's got an experience, got an opinion about what they tried, what worked for them. But remember, as people are asking questions, I want you to be thinking as well, and you to be coming in with that thought of what is the underlying why. Why is the body going into this problem? Why is it going haywire? Why are we having these symptoms? Not just what supplement can I take? What pill can I take? What do I need to do to fix this? You've got to think about why. Which pathways, which physiological reasons you go through these whole cascade. That's what's going through my head every time I see a patient. Every one of our doctors around the country are thinking, why is this body going through this problem? So welcome, love having you guys on. Pop down below where you're watching from. Any questions, put them down below. Even if you're watching this later, we keep an eye on all of our posts. So, hey Susan, good to see you. So we keep an eye on all of our posts, and even if you catch this at a later time, pop a question down below and we will do our best to get a hold of you. So anything out there, health, liberty, politics, whatever you want, I'll answer some questions, but try to keep it, hey Michelle, try to keep it into the realm of health and wellness. So, we've been having a lot of questions. Diana, great to see you. And Hannah in Texas, good to see you as well. And Mindy in Tennessee. So we've been getting a lot of questions lately about what do we do if we come down with long-term COVID issues? Hey Suzette, I was just out in North Platte at Walmart. We bought 2 coolers out there. So what do you do if somebody gets long haul COVID, if they're having those symptoms all the time? And here's some of the things that we're looking at. One of the basic things, zinc is good for viruses, but zinc just kind of overall, in general, we need to think about zinc when somebody has lost their sense of smell or their sense of taste. So what you need to do is, if you or a loved one still does not have their taste or smell like they would like to, load up on that zinc for a couple weeks and see if that can make a difference there. Do you think natural immunity is going to be lifetime? Tamara, great question. Nobody knows this answer. What we do know is that we're seeing people 12, 14, 15 months out that still have antibodies, but what we don't know is, how is this virus going to keep evolving? And is it going to turn into a seasonal upper respiratory infection, kind of like a cold or flu that everybody ends up getting each year, potential, and so is it going to turn into that type of a thing? We know that in chickens, at least, when they do mass vaccinations to the chickens, the ones that had the shots, the viruses, they're shedding off more potent viruses than the groups that did not have those. So, it's definitely a thing where the virus could keep evolving. And so that's the thing, where whether you got to keep getting boosters or don't want to get shots or whatever it is, you've got to keep your body as strong as possible, because unfortunately, COVID's going to slide into a seasonal upper respiratory infection. We don't know how it's going to be evolving, and there's a very good chance that we're going to be dealing with this still in 5 or 10 years from now. But ultimately, we've got to learn to live with it. We've got to figure out our risk tolerance and go, okay, at schools, if somebody comes down with COVID, do you lock the school down? Does everybody wear masks? Do you social? Is that worth damaging the kids or not? And that's something that people are going to have to figure out, their risk tolerance. So let me jump back to this one. So natural immunity, going to be lifelong? Probably not. Here's the deal. We do make antibodies, but coronaviruses are usually seasonal. They can evolve and see a lot of different things. Okay, Susan, do you know much about eosinophilic asthma? I've worked on quite a few patients with EOE, eosinophilic esophagitis, And that one definitely is an inflammatory thing, food allergies, leaky gut, a lot of things like that. So we would just have to take a step back, calm down that immune system, and really figure out where those inflammatory issues are coming from. Hannah, what do you think about using Nepronol for COVID lungs? I haven't seen any patients that have used that personally, and I haven't seen any specific research on it. It would be worth a shot. If somebody seriously has damaged lung function from COVID, then it could definitely be worth a shot there, but I have not seen anything specific on that. JT, I took an intolerance test that stated I am intolerant to zinc. Okay, well, JT, you're one of that small percentage of people out there that probably is not going to be able to do zinc. Fortunately, there's a lot of other good things that you can do for antiviral, vitamin A, vitamin D. You can do your quercetin, a lot of different nutrients you can do to help with viral infections. Deanne, on whether you recommend for backs who've already had coronavirus. So again, that's an individual thing. So there is no blanket answer. And anybody that does, they really haven't, trusted the science, read the science, whatever, one way or the other. For some people, I always say, if you're that 72-year-old guy out, lives on the farm, got a big belly, eats whatever, not going to change your diet, been smoking for a long time, all those things, I don't know, maybe you do want to get the shot. If you're a 32-year-old CrossFitter that's super active and eats paleo and blood sugar stabilized and all those things, probably not. The odds of you getting some type of a heart issue are probably higher than an issue with COVID. So it's definitely an individualized thing. Suzette, when coworkers are sick with symptoms from boosters, can they spread to others around them? So if we're talking about spreading the actual virus and the actual disease, I have not seen that. What I have seen is, it can throw off some different things. There's women on here now that can make comments, and we've done this before on Facebook, where we'd have like 400 different people comment about their hormonal changes had changed when they were either had their shot or were around people that had their shot. So that something can happen, and even the FDA and World Health Organization, different people have said that. I haven't seen people get sick just from the booster. When that person can still get sick even after having their shot, they can spread it. So that definitely can happen. But I don't know if there's a shedding that happens after the booster that's going to cause somebody to get sick. What can my mother-in-law take for energy? She feels tired all the time. Hey, everybody, look at Cindy's question here in the back of your head. I know most of you were saying, well, why? Why is she tired? So you've got to look at a lot of different things. You've got to run full thyroid panel, see if she's got Hashimoto's, look at the total T3 and T4, the free T3 and free T4, the TSH. You've got to look at that full thyroid pattern. You've got to look at cortisol, DHEA, testosterone. Maybe she's really low in testosterone. Maybe her cortisol is shot. She could be in adrenal fatigue. She could have low blood pressure, could be part of that. She could be dealing with anemia, so many different things. So you've got to run that complete blood panel. I've talked about multiple times this week different markers that you want to test when you're getting blood work done. So go back and look at Mondays if you haven't seen that one. Great video on there. You can also, Brittany's going to pop down below our YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed to that, go ahead and subscribe to that one. We hit 500 subscribers last week, and my kids make fun of me that that's all I have, because they call me a boomer. I call them tubers. So it's fun. But so on there, but there's like 500 videos of ours on that page. And you can search it way easier than Facebook and find a lot of good videos there. So we have to figure out the why. Annette, good morning. You talk a lot about blood sugar. Why would A1C be under 5.4 but fasting glucose is regularly over 100 in the morning? So here's the deal. Just because someone's A1C is good, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, even 5.4, just because that A1C is in a good range does not mean that is steady. Remember, it's just an average. It's not the range that they're hitting. I see some people at 5.2, they'll hit 50 and 180 in the same day. And we don't want it more than 25, 30 point swing at the most. And these people are swinging over 100 points in the same day, but their average is just fine. So just because the A1C is good does not mean your blood sugar is good. It's one indicator of what's going on, but it's not the be all and end all. But remember and think about this. If it's over 100 in the morning, first thing fasting, it's usually a rebound effect. We call it the dawn effect, where that blood sugar dips down in the middle of the night or even early morning, and the adrenals kick in. They tell the liver to kick out glucose, and now your glucose is starting to go up in anticipation of morning or because it did go down. So you need to make sure that your blood sugar is not crashing through the middle of the night. That's the beauty of having the continuous glucose monitor, where we put the patch on and we're able to see every 5 minutes, even through the night, what somebody's blood sugar is doing. So odds are your blood sugar is dipping, and that is why you're having that high in the morning. Cindy, sore after a workout, what can I take or do? If this is sore, like, the next morning or the next day you're sore, but then the next day you're fine, some of that's typical, and there's some things that you can do. I'll tell you in a second. But if it's more of a 3-day soreness, things like that, one, you're probably not getting a good restorative sleep state, and you're not rebuilding your muscles at that point. Two, you probably could take some glutamine powder, L-glutamine, and Brittany will put a link down below for that one as well. Glutamine, it's an amino acid, but it's one of the best things that you can take post-workout to prevent that soreness. And then, and I'm gonna do a review on one of these here in the next couple days. There's a massage gun. I just got one for my 15-year-old that does a lot of athletics. I got one at Costco. It's a sharper image for like $60 on sale. And so far he's enjoying it, but I'm gonna try it out, compare it to my $250 one and see how it does. But the massage gun is a great tool. So if it's like pec soreness, bicep soreness, anything, you just get in and beat on those and get that blood flow into that muscle, and it can really make a difference in there. So make sure you're getting good quality sleep, and that's probably one of the big reasons why you're not regenerating there. All right, welcome everybody. Let me know where you're watching from. Love to see you guys. Have you heard of shedding? And if so, what can you tell us? So Mary Jo, we were just talking about this a few minutes ago. Basically, I've done some little green links posts that we pop up there and go, have you seen this hormonal change after having your shot or being exposed to shedding? And there's actually full-blown reports of this and documented research on it, that a lot of women, it will throw off their cycles. And so I've heard of women having menstrual cycles into their 50s and 60s when they haven't for a long time. Some women skip a whole bunch when they had their shot, or being around women that are shedding that. So, those are some of the big things that I've seen as far as shedding goes. I haven't seen anything else of like, oh, that person got sick from shedding from a shot. If somebody has had their shot and they get sick, or they contract the virus and don't even have symptoms, they can still spread it just as easily as anyone else. So that's going to be part of it. I haven't seen that, like, ooh, you're going to shed the virus to somebody else. I have not seen that happen. But just like anything, anything can cause anything. But really, the big thing that we're looking at with this is inflammatory processes that are going on in the body. It's not so much a toxic thing as it is inflammation. We've seen C-reactive protein go up really high, some different things. So we've really got to work on getting that inflammation down. All right, pop those questions down below. What causes chronic bladder infection? So a couple things. The bladder is held kind of by fascia and muscle and other organs, and it's like this, and it constricts and then fills up with urine, and then constricts and fills up with urine. But what can happen is, because of a tilted uterus, not enough abdominal core muscles, pelvic floor issues, that bladder can actually tip, and we can pool urine down in the bladder as well. So when it constricts and contracts in there, all the bladder may not go out, and that's going to be a great place for bacteria to settle and to grow. So you would want to think about doing some visceral manipulation. Some massage therapists, some chiropractors can do those things, and you basically can pull that bladder into the right place so that everything gets out. It's also a great indication that your microbiome is out of balance. You've probably had a lot of antibiotics in your day, and so it's going to be good to kick that out. Diana, are there any reports of people who have had COVID and got the shot? Any issues? I have not seen any reports or research or anything where somebody had COVID and then got the shot, and then like people talk about, it gets rid of your antibodies or anything. I have not seen that with patients. So I really can't comment on that. Again, we were talking about it yesterday, that people that get COVID, if they're obese, are going to have way more autoimmune antibodies than neutralizing antibodies. So they're going to attack their own tissue. That could be amplified if they get the shot as well. We just don't know at this point. So no matter what you have going on, you've got to get that weight down. You've got to get your health where it needs to be and really get cranking on getting that body as balanced as possible. Tamara, let us know what you've seen. It's always good to hear other people's experiences. Britt, Anna, great to see you. Do you see people with Lyme disease? Yes. So my wife's had Lyme disease. I had 2 bullseye tick rings. I've trained with Dr. Klinghardt. Lyme disease is tricky. It's a slippery slope. Some people, I've had them come in 8 years. They've been taking antibiotics, and they're like, "Do you think you can figure out that one antibiotic that's going to fix this?" And it's like, if you've been taking antibiotics for 8 years and you still have these symptoms, you did not fix the other parts of the body that are out of balance. So even with Lyme disease or mold or whatever, we've got to start with the basics. Yes, there's got to be some kill off and some different things, but if you are not fixing up your system, if you're not getting the blood sugar and the liver and the gut and all these other things balanced, it's going to be very hard to deal with Lyme. New York, hey Gina, good to see you. All right, God's got you. Daniel, North Carolina, I've been thinking about looking into my testosterone levels. Is this something I can do? Yes, so testosterone, men and women, it's a major issue. We just had a guy yesterday, his was like 260, and I joke, but it's true that if you're under 200 as a guy, you can compete in the Olympics as a female. So, I mean, think about that. I had a post a while back about how we're actually less of a man than we were 50 years ago because we've gone down 1% per year on average for the average guy's testosterone. And somebody posted on there, "Come on, you're saying that just because you're low testosterone, you're not much of a man." I'm like, well, actually, that's what the physiology says, is that the more testosterone you are, the more of a man you are. And even in the whole political correctness world, that's that cutoff for whether you can be classified as a male or a female. So at testosterone, you got to figure out what your blood sugar's doing. You've got to get that guy's blood. It can go into estrogen, then you start getting man boobs, hot flashes, all these different issues. For women, it's usually a stress issue, so that DHEA is going down, cortisol's going up, fight or flight, less reproducing. DHEA turns into testosterone, so you're in this adrenaline fight or flight state, and you're not producing your testosterone, and low libido, low muscle tone, low motivation, all those things that we really need to have to be productive in this world. Hey Debbie out there in Kansas, great to see you. Gina, thanks for the Thanksgiving wishes. And Chicken Day, Susan's going to have chicken. Is turmeric safe to take if you're taking Eliquis? Let me look that one up. I'll double check on that one. I have not seen any contraindications with turmeric, besides maybe if somebody's doing chemo or something like that. But I'll double check on that one. I've told all my friends and family that you and your knowledge is the biggest and best gift of 2020. Well, thank you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate that. We love getting the information out there. Tamara, my son has a tree nut allergy. Do you think chia seeds are safe to eat? Yeah, I would try flax seeds, chia seeds, any of those things. Unfortunately, if it's a true like EpiPen need, have it and see how that goes. But yeah, it really is a different part of it. Hey, Janie, thank you so much for that. Thanksgiving. Certain foods and vitamins make me burn when I pee. Why is this? That is interesting. So the first thought, burning urination would be some type of infection, some type of bladder infection, and it can just make that pH go a little bit different. You may want to check a urine test strip and see if there's any infection, any bacteria, anything like that in there. So check that out. If you don't have one, you can order them on Amazon, or you can just go into your primary care doc and get that tested and see if there's any type of infection going on there. D-mannose is one of the best things you can do for that. And the other person that asked about bladder infection, Brittany can pop that up on the link there. But D-mannose is one of the best nutrients that you can do for the infections. Hey Debbie, good to see you. Lisa, great to see you. Hope you're doing well up there in Estes. And Holly, does your office do neurofeedback brain training? How much is the initial appointment? Holly, yes, absolutely. All of our offices do neurofeedback. This is for a lot of you guys that have never heard of a brain map or neurofeedback. I've tried all types of different things: lasers, oxygen, PMF, all types of different tools. But the one thing that's at all of our offices around the country, and every new one that we're starting up, is a brain map and neurofeedback. So basically what it is a quantitative EEG, just like an EKG of the heart. We're sensing the electrical activity of the brain. And depending on what we find there, we can see anxiety, depression, insomnia, Asperger's, Alzheimer's, autism, all types of different things. Somebody's got brain fog, if they've got this chronic rumination, fight or flight, all these different things. We can see that in the brain map, and the treatment for that is neurofeedback, and it is an absolute game changer. If you've been to a lot of natural healthcare providers and just haven't gotten the results, it's probably to do with your brain, and this is a great place to start. So the initial appointment, we're actually going to be having a Black Friday special, so look out on Friday for that. That'll be posted, and if you guys direct message us or leave a message on Friday, we'll get you that special, and that'll have the brain map and blood work and the office visit, everything in there. So we'll get that squared away. And Nancy, you are so welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for being on and for being part of this great community of people that just want to learn and get better. Nancy, thoughts on the shingles vaccine? So, for some people, if they're not going to change anything, if they're not going to change their diet, they're not going to lose weight, they're not going to get their body better, maybe they should go down that path. For a lot of people, I myself, I would like to trust my own body better and do everything I possibly can to get as healthy as possible, so that it can be vitality enough to keep those things at bay. Because remember, shingles is all about depleted system, but you get super stressed out, you get run down, depleted from immune system, whatever it is, and then shingles can be activated. So you've got to keep your body in a good state and in a a good balance there. So glutathione is a great tool to be able to prevent that as well. So, all right, I do not see any more questions. Love having you guys on. If you've got anything, if you're watching this later, pop those down below. If you think of something, let me know. But otherwise, love seeing you guys, and have a great Thanksgiving. If we don't chat before then, take care.